Hello, everybody. My name is Bianca, and today I'm going to be talking about the nesting quilt. So, when we first started this project initially, I was a little bit unsure of which direction to head because none of my family quilts. So I decided to go into the next best route, and I texted my friends in the big group chat, and I said, "Does anyone please have a quilt that I can document?" And my friend Mallory was the first one to respond. And the earliest picture in here dates back to 2017. However, Mallory and I actually met in the fourth grade in 2011, which was over a decade ago now. And as you can imagine, with all that time we've spent together, our friendship has seen all the waves and stages of adolescence. And with seeing all the waves and stages of adolescence, we also got to know each other's families very well. And her mom, Kate Wagner, is not only an awesome ceramic artist who has a shop and everything at Slash a Blue on Etsy and Instagram. She also was a great sleepover host to our very, very loud middle and high school slumber parties. But Mallory told me that she's made a quilt before. So I was like, okay, perfect. Let me come up with a plan. So contact Mallory and ask about her mother, Kate. Boom, done. Contact Kate and ask about her quilt and learn more about the time/place that the quilt was made. And then I had a couple of resources that I was thinking of, and then create a timeline of events surrounding the quilt's creation. So as I begun this plan, as with any plan, I ran into a couple challenges as expected. Communication was done remotely because of our distance from each other from both Mallory and her mother. Mallory goes to Wayne State and her mom lives in Farmington Hills, which is my hometown now. And there's also limited information about Garden City in 2002. Through the newspaper archives I looked at, the earliest it went back to was 2006, which is just a couple years short of what I needed. However, despite these challenges, there were some great outcomes. I gained knowledge/reminders of pop culture in 2002, which was very interesting because that was the year I was born, and like many of you as well. So it's just interesting to see what that was like from a different perspective now. And also, I gained interest in the nesting instinct, and I'll be talking about both of those. But before we begin with that, start with the quilt. So when Kate was 2 days before Mallory was due or 2 days before Kate was due with Mallory, she was like, you know what? I'm gonna quilt. I'm gonna buy a sewing machine with my credit card and teach myself this craft. And she got her fabric at Joann's, and she didn't see a pattern. She just saw squares together, and she always loved squares. Um, and with the timeline, so we can see August 13th, 2002, is when Kate began nesting. And Mallory actually ended up being born one day later than expected in Garden City, Michigan at August 16th, 2002. And then in July 2011, when Kate and her family moved to Garden City to from Garden City. But to speak more about Garden City, the town was named after the English planning urban concept. Essentially, like each family would be given their own like area of land where they could farm and supply for themselves. However, with modern day Garden City does not look like that. It is a lot more suburban neighborhoods. And strip malls and whatnot. But also, what else did the world look like in 2002? Hot in Here by Nelly was a song of the summer. Spider-Man featuring Tobey Maguire was released in that May. The US was in Afghanistan as a response to the 9/11 attacks, and Apple announced the second version of the iPod in July 2002. So these are just some bits and pieces of what life was like when Kate was nesting. But what is nesting again anyway? So in generally, it is the urge for pregnant people to clean and organize in preparation for a new baby. This often happens like right before the baby is about to be delivered. And you can nest, and it comes from feelings of all the feelings that you can imagine about being a mother. And there is a variety of ways of women nest, and I actually went to Reddit and I looked up atypical nesting stories. So this person, she was cleaning the walls of her stairwell, and then she made lactation cookies that night. Um, Another one, her husband vomited on the ground and she cleaned it up and she was like, this is not enough. We need to set the carpet on fire. Another one ironed her baby clothes, all of them. Another just mopped the walls. A pregnant person bought a bookshelf, assembled it by themselves, and then had a baby the next day. So a lot of atypical ways to nest, and there are also a lot of atypical ways to do art. So once we go to the next slide here, we can see the painting on the left is a very popular painting from the modernist movement by Piet Mondrian. And I saw it very similar to Kate's quilt. And modernism was all about moving forward and not dwelling on the past, which I think is very relevant to what Kate was kind of experiencing at the time when she was making the quilt. Like Mallory was her firstborn child, so this was her first time about to have a baby, about to become a mother, and that's a whole shift of your life and that's a whole shift and change of your life from being a woman to a mother. And I thought that was very relevant, and I liked how that related. So from this project, I did a lot of reflection on my friendship with Mallory, just all the things that have had to happen that have given me this beautiful connection with my friend Mallory and her family, and also with my own family. My mom is there on the right. Um, and I still have yet to ask her what kind of nesting tactics and strategies she did. Um, but these are pictures of Mallory and her family and her mom with the quilt in the middle. But overall, motherhood, every time I hear something about labor and pregnancy and motherhood, I'm like, that is so crazy and insane. And I just have so much just respect and love and admiration for mothers all around.